but I'm going to tell it anyway, okay? I'll explain that in a few minutes. I'm fast asleep one night, and I'm very rudely awakened by somebody pounding on the soles of my combat boots. And he's saying, let's go, up and at 'em. We're moving out, full gear. Now, snap to it, let's go. If somebody says that to you in January 1945, in the middle of winter, you're going to say, this is not going to be a very nice day. And it wasn't. A little later on, I learned that we were to capture the town of Bullingen in Belgium. Now that was very close to the German border. A little later, we learned we were going to have to hike across this great big open flat field with woods on both sides of it. That didn't sound like a very good idea to me, but what did I know? So we started plowing, and I mean plowing, because we were snow up over our knees. And we started plowing across that field toward this great big house, which was the first building in that town. We were fully committed to that field a few minutes later, and we found out the Germans were waiting for us. All of a sudden, crossfire from both sides with machine guns in those wooded areas, had a flood of hot lead crossing that field both ways, caught us in the middle. This was not a good idea. But this was the army. You did what you were told. I heard one voice. The guys holler, medic, medic, I'm hit. Come over here, please. Help me. I didn't turn around to see. I didn't want to see how many guys were lying in the snow, unable to call a medic. You know what I mean. Anyway, we kept going, and we were very near that house, and someone hollered, incoming. When you hear that, you hit the ground fast. What that meant was you could hear artillery shells whirling through the air. Germany was really ready for us, with a barrage of artillery fire raining down on that field where we were. Now, this went on, and we were pinned down in the snow because you had the artillery fire, you had the machine guns, you had the plop of a mortar coming in, and you had potato mashers. Potato masher? That's what we called the German hand grenade, because they had a handle and they used to throw that out the window of that house. Anyway, it seemed like we were there for hours, but it was probably only minutes. Now, all of a sudden, and this happens in combat, I didn't know that din, that ear-splitting noise, bomb after bomb after bomb, machine guns, mortars, hand grenades, all of that, all of a sudden stops. It's like everybody is reloading or something. It's not the case, but that's what it sounds like. Now, during one of those very quiet, almost complete silence, and occasionally you hear the snap of a rifle being fired at somebody. But we're listening, and all of a sudden, way over there, I heard this voice screaming at the top of his lungs. He hollered, Heil Hitler, in case we lose. Now, speaking of Hitler, we're talking about good old Adolf. I don't know if there's anybody in the world that knew this guy enough to know what he had in mind How much of the world did he have to conquer before he was satisfied? And saying that, he had already conquered Europe, parts of Asia, parts of North Africa. He already had a toehold in South America, but there were two bumps in the road for him, I'm sure. Very few people know this, but at the beginning of World War II, Russia and Germany were allies. There must have been some conflict there that could have been resolved, which meant one bump in the road. That bump in the road was the British Isles, the Isles of British. London, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. Now London was almost on its knees because they'd been suffering for months with these buzz bomb rockets crossing the channel from England, or from Germany to southern England, and it was devastating, that part of the country. But what happens if he succeeded there? Army is full of rumors, you know that, don't you? Anyway, the rumor was, guess who was next? The hated and despised Americans. It could have happened. Now, this morning we got up and you said good morning to somebody, perhaps then you'd be saying, Guten Morgen. At evening, not good evening, you'd be saying Guten Abend. A few minutes ago, you pledged allegiance to that flag over there. Perhaps the time was coming, we didn't know when, that you would be compelled to allegiance to this one. Now, unless you were a confirmed Nazi, this was an ugly emblem. In fact, during the 30s and 40s, the whole world was petrified by this symbol. Now, I'm going to mention two words: Dresden, Germany. I'll bet there isn't a woman in this audience that doesn't relate Dresden to China. Not the country of China, I'm talking about China, that delicate, beautiful, porcelain-like tableware manufactured in Dresden, Germany for years. World War II, Dresden was not, I repeat, not making tableware. Dresden was a hotbed for the manufacture of all the arms it took to keep that German Nazi army capturing the world. Dresden, it's a pity, had to be destroyed. February 15, 1945, the RAC, the Royal Air Force of Britain, plus the United States Army Air Corps, that's what it was known as in those days, coordinated effort. These flying fortresses, plus every other bomber you could think of by the hundreds, flight after flight after flight after flight. Saturation bombing of Dresden, Germany. Dresden was destroyed. Now you're sitting here very comfortably tonight. Perhaps you're going to hear about this much of what war is like. Hold on to your seats, because it starts right now.